Hello YouTube! We're on the Real Programming channel. Welcome! I'm its host, my name is Andrei, I greet you. This is our second lesson. It is about HTML and JavaScript. And would the real HTML5 please stand up? Okay, for a start, exercise. You're closer to HTML5 markup than you think. Here is some old school HTML that needs updating. Would thought the HTML5 automatic process and update is this HTML to HTML5. Go ahead and scribble in the book, scratch out the existing markup code and add the new markup code you need to. We will help it a little by highlighting two areas that need to change. When you're done, type it on grab the exercise files and make your changes of your prefer. Load this in your browsers. Enjoy your first HTML5. And you'll find answer on the next minute. Remember, please, to download all the code and simple files for this book lesson. You will find in materials lesson under this video in this description, link to Google Drive. Okay, do you ready for answer? And this is our answer. Yes? Okay. Do you see different? Here are our 4 lines we changed to make your head first long web page officially HTML5. The doc type, the tag meta, the link tag and the script tag. And don't believe us? Try HTTP validator w3.org and you'll see it validates as HTML5. For real. You'll find this link under this video in description. Okay, there are no dumb questions. How does this works on these old browsers? Like the new doc type meta and so on, somehow the older browsers work with this new syntax. Yes, thought a bit of cleverness and luck. Take the type attributes on the link and the script text. Now it makes sense to get rid of this attribute with HTML5 because CSS and JavaScript are now the standards and certainly are the default technologies for style and scripting, but as it turns out the browsers already assumed the default of CSS and JavaScript, so the stars elegant and the new markup standards just happens to have been supported in the browser for years. The same is true of the doc type and the meta tag. What about the new doc type? It seems too simple now. It doesn't even have a version or a DTD. Yes, it does seem a little magical that after years of using complex doc types, we can now just simplify it too. We're using HTML. Here's what happened. HTML used to be based on a standard called SGML, and that standard required for both the complex form of the doc type and the DTD. The new standard has moved away from SGML as a way to simplify HTML language and make it more flexible, so we don't need the complex form anymore. Future, as we said above, there is some luck here is that almost all browsers just look for HTML in the doc type to ensure they are parsing an HTML document. We are looking about a never-changing gain. I thought the versioning was really important for browsers. Why not use doc type HTML5? It's not like there isn't going to be an HTML6 too, right? The use of the doc type evolved with browser makes using the doc type to tell their browsers to render things in their own standards mode. Now that we have much more of true standard, the doc type HTML5 tells any browsers that this document is standard HTML. be that version 5, 6 or whatever. Well, I assume different browsers are going to have different capabilities at any one time. How do I handle that? True, especially until HTML5 is 100% supported. We'll cover both of these points and this chapter and throughout the book. Why does this even matter? I just typed a page in without a doc type and meta tag and it worked just fine. Why do I need to worry if this stuff is totally correct? Yes, browsers are great at overlooking small errors in HTML files, but by including the correct doc type and the meta tags, you'll make sure browsers know exactly what you want, rather than having to guess. Plus, for people using older browsers and the new doc type means they'll use standards mode, which is what you want. Remember, standards mode is a mode where the browser assumes you're writing HTML that conforms to a standard. So it uses those rules to interpret your page. If you don't specify a doc type, some browsers may go into Quake mode and assume your web page is written for older browsers when the standard wasn't quite up to snuff, and may interpret your page incorrectly or assume it's just written incorrectly. Whatever happened to XHTML? It seems like a few years ago that was the future. Yeah, it was. Then flexibility won out over strict syntax, and in the process XHTML. XHTML2, to be precise, died, and HTML5 was born to be more accepting of the way people write web pages and the way browsers render them. That said, don't worry, because knowing about XHTML is only going to make you stronger authors of HTML5 content, and you're going to appreciate HTML5 a whole lot more. And by the way, if you really love XML, there is still a way to write your HTML5 in strict form. More on that later. What is UTF-8? UTF-8 is character coding that has support for many alphabets, including non-Western ones. You probably seen other character sets used in the past, but UTF-8 is being promoted as a new standard, and it's way shorter and easier to remember than previous characters encodings. Relax, we don't expect you to know HTML5 yet if you never had exposure to HTML5 before. That's okay, but you should have worked with HTML, and there are some basics you should know about, like elements, text, attributes, listing the difference between semantic markup and adding style, and so on. If you aren't familiar with all this, we're going to make a small suggestion. And shameless plug, there's another book that processes one HTML first with CSS and XHTML, our last playlist, and should read it. And if you're somewhat familiar with markup language, you might want to skim it or use it as a reference while reading this book. Okay. What the real HTML5? Please stand up. Okay, you blatantly humored us by sitting toward our HTML5 formatting skit, and we're sure you already guessed there are a lot more to HTML5 than that. The word on the street is that HTML5 removes the need of plugins, can be used for everything from simple pages to Quake-style games, and is wiped topping for desserts. HTML5 seems to be something different to everyone. You can read this, and the good news is HTML5 is all these things. When people talk about HTML5, then mean a family of technologies that, when combined, gives you a whole new palette for building web page and applications. Okay, HTML5 really works. We will talk about this in the next lesson. And You will find all the code and materials of this lesson under this video. Remember this. In this description link to a Google Drive. And on this our second lesson over about JavaScript. And thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel, please. Put likes and share with friends with comment. Meditate, exercise, do more exercise probably in the evening after you have done all the work, and drink more water with eat fruit, eat bananas, eat apples, and thanks. I like you. Bye.